today we're talking about some cheap games. With the Steam summer sale going on at the moment, there's some really good deals out there. It does add up though, and so I thought today, for this video, I spent the last couple days anyway, trying to find the games that are like dirt cheap, like $1 or $2, and put them into a list here. So these are all the games. I've played all these, and I think they are all definitely worth the $1 or $2 that they cost. So consider this bargain bin day as we go through and find a bunch of very, very cheap games. And we'll start with the most expensive game on the list. Star Traders Frontiers by the Treese Brothers came out back in 2018. This is you are building yourself you have a spaceship, hire your crew, assemble your crew, and move through the galaxy with a sort of like a bit of Darkest Dungeon combat style of thing with some card mechanics in there. Fantastic game, but it is right now on sale, 60% off for $5.99. Cheapest one on the list right now. Up next, we got Grim Dawn. Grim Dawn is this action RPG, think Diablo-esque game by Crate Entertainment, same folks that are making Farthest Frontier. And this one came out back in 2016. Now, there's not going to be any new games on this list, but they're a few years old. But for the price, 90% off, $2.12 for Grim Dawn right now. Gedonia, there is a Gedonia 2 that came out recently. Gedonia 1 came out in 2022. It's an open world RPG. You're a fantasy hero and you run around basically sandbox style, doing whatever you want, entering into dungeons and all that good stuff by a single dev. And it is sitting down here at 90% off again for $1.49 for this one. And that's basically like this whole list you could probably get for under $50 for all, like, I got like 25, 30 games in here. Up next is Dome Keeper. This is you're building a base on top, shooting off the aliens that are coming at you, but in the daytime, you go down into the caves and mine minerals. Use those minerals to build up your base a bit more by bipping bits and Raw Fury. This one came out a few years ago. There's a couple new versions of this out there, but this is the first one, and it is sitting at 70% off for $4.85 right now. Normally $20. Urbek City Builders, one of my favorite city builders that came out in the past few years. A very, a big scale city builder, and also has all these like different updates and scenarios that you can do that really twists some things and makes it a little bit weird. There's like a building a city in like a combat zone is one of the options. Anyway, it came back in 2022. It's a voxel style classic city builder. Well, mostly classic by Fridus, and it is down here at $3 right now. I think does it have yeah, there it is. Defend the City. That's the one. So you like building a city in a war zone? Weird stuff, but good stuff. It's also on sale, $3 as well. Next up, we have Black Skylands. This one's you're a captain of an airship. So in this top-down action RPG style, you go in there and you kind of like build up your town, your settlements, but then you go out in the airship and go to these different floating islands and action RPG, shoot and blast and puzzles and all that stuff by Hungry Couch Games and Tiny Build. A bunch of Tiny Build games are on sale right now. And this one came out just a few years ago, 2023, and it is sitting at $5 right now. And the demo's out there too, but $5, normally $20. Neo Scavenger. If you want a game where you can probably spend hours and hours in, that's Neo Scavenger. Neo Scavenger, they're making Astronauts right now, but Blue Ball Games, I think this is their first one, anyway, on Steam. And you are wasteland, post-apocalyptic kind of thing. Scavenge, as the name implies the wasteland, and turn-based style, hex-based style, work your way around the world. A great roguelike RPG survival game that came out a few years ago, and it's at $3.74 right now. Transport Fever is a railroad-focused tycoon game. I don't need to say much more about that because you know what you're getting into. Put trains down and boats down and planes down, all that good stuff by Urban Games. Came out in 2016. And while it's normally $30 right now, it's $3. Don't Starve. I have both Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together in here. They're both super cheap. This one came out in 2016 by Clay Entertainment. And Don't Starve Together, this is a survival sandbox RPG kind of a thing. And this is the multiplayer standalone thing for $1.50. The other one I don't have it together. There it is. Don't Starve is also on sale. Came out in 2013. This is the single player version of that. Build a base, survive the wastelands. It's Scary Out There by Clay Entertainment, and it is $1.67 for this one. Speaking of classics, a lot of these are going to be kind of classics from, 10 years ago or so. We got FTL in here. FTL came out in 2012. A fantastic game. Spaceship simulation, roguelike, build yourself a spaceship, hire your crew, go from point to point, blasting folks. If anything, if you don't have the game, get the game. It's $2.50 right now. And once you've put several hours into the game in the normal mode, then you can go back and get a million mods for this thing. And there's even like a new, like a giant mod for this that basically makes it FTL2 that's out there that you can get. So FTL, I highly, by the way, my number one recommendation on this list, if you don't have it already, is FTL. Let's go spooky for this next one. This is Carrion, the reverse horror game. So instead of being the Marines or whatever, trudging down into the dungeons and the desolate places of the world fighting monsters, you are the monster. By Phobia Game Studio, came back in 2020, and you are this amorphous mob, that thing right there, as you, sling your tentacles around and eat the people, and it's a lot of fun. But it is down here at $2 right now, 90% off for this one. There's Dark Apico is the next one. This is a beekeeping sim, a laid-back beekeeping sim. So think that top-down, like crafting, farming, that kind of a type game, where you're building a base, going out and chopping trees, building hives, but all focused on bees. And this is by L-Razor, came back in 2022, which it is at normally $20. Right now, it's $4. Endzone World of Parts. I had to put some city builders in here, colony builders, because, I had to. This is a post-apocalyptic survival city builder. The apocalypse has happened, and now you're, trying to come back from whatever to build yourself a town in the post-apocalypse by Gently Mad Studios. And Assemble came out back in 2021. And in this, that's not much of a trailer, is it? There's some pictures if you want to see some pictures of the game. In this dystopian-looking survival city builder. And it comes out, normally it's $25, but it's $2.50 at the moment. And I do have my extension in there, so, it shows you it's been this price once, and that was last year. But $2.50 is about as cheap as it gets. No, not about it. It is as cheap as it gets. In fact, all of these, I believe, are as cheap as they have ever been. Moonlighter is up next. Moonlighter 2 came out very recently. This is like a shopkeeping sim, but most of the game is spent action RPG style. You jump into the dungeon and hacking and slashing and collecting the loot. And then you go out back to the town and then sell that loot at your shop. You can set the prices, and do all that kind of shopkeeping stuff in there. This is by Digital Sun and 11 bits, and it is sitting at $3 right now. Panorama is that more cozy or casual town building game. You got these little hexes, and you place the hexes down trees next to other trees, get points, and then houses next to other houses get you more points. Dwarf romantic style, we're going to call it. And this came out here back in 2023 in this, in that sort of cozy phase of games that we've gotten a lot of, but it's a lot of fun. By Chicken Launcher, and it is right now at $2, $2.09, 85% off. Seed Survival Gloria Victis. I remember this one came out, and then I didn't hear anything else about it, but it was a lot of fun when I played it. The one time that I played it. This is so you're like your city's under siege, and so you spend most of the time like building up your town behind the walls, and you're sort of scavenging around in this like isometric point of view, or third person point of view anyway, and like scavenging around. The town is, there's bad dudes out there. You got to go find loot and then go build up your town some more. Interesting idea by Black Eye Games, and it is 90% off right now, $2.49. Driftland, the Magic Revival, is this sort of like RTS base building thing, but your base is placed on like individual floating islands, and you slowly expand to more islands as you bridge the gap between those land masses in this kind of RTS base building style by Star Drifters. Back in 2019, this one came out, and it is at $4 right now. This one, by the way, has been, I think this is the one on the list that has been cheaper. So if you feel $4 is too much and you wanted to go back to $1, it might, but I'm not sure when. Next up, we have Dust to the End. This is a open world sandbox. You're basically running a convoy, and this convoy can go out in this open world. It's sort of Battle Brothers style of thing where you're kind of building up a mercenary company or a trade caravan, and then you run out into the world in your little wagon, stopping by town to town, doing trade, fighting monsters and strange worms or whatever else. And then you go into turn-based combat, like a little bit Darkest Dungeon style, I suppose. Came out in 2021, and it is at $2.39. We got Gladiator Guild Manager up next. This is an auto battler sim. You're, well, as the name implies, hiring some folks for your Gladiator guild, and you're managing them. And as the game goes on, you start expanding to new lands and new arenas that you're going into, and of course your heroes are getting equipped and getting better, and in that sort of RPG mechanic type of thing. I think I actually have a character in here named after me, as a matter of fact. This came out back in 2024 at full release. Entertainment Forge made this one, and it is at 67% off, puts it at $5. Tales of Maj'Al, in my opinion, one of the best games ever made, typically is free. You can get the original tome for free at, I think it's te4.org, something like that. I forget what it is. I'll put it in the description. By the way, all these will be in the description. The Steam pages will be there. I'll also I've played all of them. I think I have videos on most of these, and I'll have links to those videos in the comments if you want to see more detail about some of these games before you buy them. But TOME is normally free, but if you want to get any of the expansions, you have to buy the game on Steam or wherever. And those expansions would be things like the Ashes, the Orc expansion, or the Embers of Rage. Actually, I think that's the Ember, one of them. But those are the expansions you can get. And you can get those, to get those, you have to buy the game. So if you want to buy the game from Steam, there it is. It's half off, $3.50 here on Steam. Open the Gates, the side-scrolling RTS castle building game, or castle defending game. Came out back in 2022, and as I said, it's a side-scrolling, build your town, and then send out your armies to fight, side-scrolling style. It came out in 2022. It is at $2 right now. Roadwarden is a text-based RPG, a really well-done text-based RPG. You're this fella, like, out in the world. Well, you're a road warden, mercenary, essentially, and you're trying to, like, figure out what's going on out there, and as you go from point to point, this sort of choose-your-own-adventure style of thing. Very narrative-heavy, very text-heavy, but if you're into those kind of things, I'll show you some pictures there, there you go. If you're into those kind of things, you know, choose what you're going to do next, and hope to not get eaten by stuff. It's a really good game. It's a lot of fun, and this came out in 2022 by Moral Anxiety Studio, and it is sitting down here at $2.74. Hammerhelm is that sort of mix of city builder or colony builder and third person. So you are an individual dwarf, and you're trying to build up your town. So you go out and you hire in new dwarves, you build them houses, then you build the town hall, and you can kind of direct the stuff from your point of view. And then you go out in the dungeons, collect loot, and then come back and then build your town up a bit more from this sort of zoomed out perspective. A little bit of combo of both. And of course, you're a dwarf, so it's all about a community of dwarves coming in here. But it's a good game. I enjoyed it back 5 years ago when I played it, and it is sitting here at 85% off for $1.50. Man, these games are like, you will get much more gameplay out of these than you will the $1.50. Definitely worth the $1.50 you're going to spend on these. That's what I'm trying to say. First Feudal is up next. Become a real medieval feudal lord. This is a top-down colony building game. Like if you want to take something like, when I played this before, good comparison would be like RimWorld, but medieval style. But then some. I mean, there's more than that to it, because you can kind of command things a little bit better. It's definitely focused on the medieval feudal part of the game, and raids are coming in and all this. It's a fun one. It came out in 2021 by Harpoon Games, and it is at $2.99. Oh, it has been cheaper, but it's still $3. I want to highlight all of the Spiderweb software games. If you're into these like isometric RPG dungeon crawling type games, then Spiderweb is like, it's one of the classics. These are your traditional, well, RPG dungeon crawling type party-based RPGs, and they've made a ton of them for like 40 years or something like that. They've been making them, and they're all on sale. I've played them here. I've played them over on GOG. I've played a bunch of these, even more than I've got shown here, and they're all kind of the same style, but they're all really good, and I've enjoyed all of them. So if you are interested in getting some Spiderweb stuff, they're all on sale, and they're all cheap. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Both this one and Kingmaker are both on sale for pretty cheap. I'm highlighting Wrath of the Righteous this time because I think I did Kingmaker like last year. So we will talk about Wrath of the Righteous. This is a Dungeons & Dragons, or, Pathfinder style of party-based RPG. You build yourself a party and move through the dungeons. This one came out in 2021 by Alcat, and it is at 75% off for $5. Far Lone Sails. Civilization is like dying or decaying or whatever, and your job is to build up or maintain this little craft that you're moving around. This was a lot of fun back 8 years ago. I didn't feel like it was that long ago that I played it. And you're this lone guy running around the place, kind of in this narrative or atmospheric, I think is probably the best word for it, adventure game. Post-apocalyptic, of course, and then you got to go, if you got to raise the bridge, so you got to hop off, go into the base, do some puzzly things to raise the bridge so you can move your machine to the next zone. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it is down here at $1.50, 90% off. And our last one on the list, Ashes of the Singularity, is a massive scale RTS where you're going to have like hundreds and hundreds of units in this, massive scale RTS. Sci-fi style. This is by Stardock, and it came out back in 2016. Ashes of the Singularity 2 just came out, and this is, of course, the first one, but it is at $3, 90% off. There you go. There is my list, my giant list of dirt cheap games. I'm sure there's a lot more out there. I've done my best to find that. I've been looking for a couple days trying to build this list to make sure that I've got a good selection of things. But I think all of these are definitely worth the money. I've enjoyed all of them in my time that I've played with them. And, I hope you find something you like and don't spend too much money. Thanks for watching.